have it. Fashion through the ages, and I'm sure you can guess for yourself what it communicates. Am I right? Right? That's it. No, but I wish. I really do. Anyways, I am Karen, and this is Charlotte, Lottie for all intents and purposes. And today we're going to be answering the question of what Western women's attire communicates throughout the ages. Currently, my appearance hopefully demonstrates some effort, some 21st century style, maybe not that, and at least some professionalism. And Lottie, what does your outfit say about you? Lottie, I chose you as my co-host because I thought you could add some really riveting commentary. I guess not, because personally, this outfit screams that you could and might poop in it at any moment. And I have to be ready for that. Right? Okay. Anyways, let us look at how fashion began. It was not always about making an impression like we're trying to do. Looking at the Paleolithic era, a very long era, we're going to focus on the beginning of clothes. I learned in my humanities class that art was not a thing until about 40,000 years ago. Same with the concept of fashion. In the Paleolithic times, clothes were invented out of necessity.
There was no such thing as a stigmatism against nudity. In fact, it might have symbolized fertility, the most important thing as a woman in those times. To protect themselves from the sun and wind, they would dry mud on their skin.
No need for clothes unless one lived in a colder climate, so the beginning of clothes began because people needed them to survive. Clothes are believed to have first been used 180,000 years ago. Like I'm saying, it's a very long era. The only reason we even know they had clothes was because of the tools they left behind. Archaeologists have not found full garmented clothes older than 8,000 years old, so all we have are their tools, really.
These tools were primarily made out of stone, bone, or antlers, and show that clothes were primarily made from the skins of animals they hunted. They chewed on the skin to make it more flexible, but eventually they evolved to smoking the hide so it would last longer than usual.
There was not any fashion. Clothes in this time were for mandatory use only.
But of course, fashion conquers all, and as time went on, beads and sewing started to exist, making clothes more available to count as fashion, although they still communicated basic ideals of survival and reproduction.
As religion and society developed, fashion norms were put in place for women. We will fast forward many of thousands of years to get to Common Era time. Since we are looking at the clothing of Western Hemisphere for women, the religion that ruled our clothing was Christianity. And Christianity enforced modesty, so no ankles. But of course, small waists and bosoms were a must. But first, class ruled fashion industry.
Let us look at the 1200s. Clothes were obviously necessary now. They actually still incorporated comfort in these times, but also clothes were a display of what one had. There was surprisingly a lot of similarity in clothes for different social classes. No one wore makeup because it was seen as sinful, so clothes did all the communicating. More expensive items of clothing were generally distinguished by their use of superior materials, like brocade and silk. Here my cousin is displaying a solid colored dress style with a similar fabric to brocade. She is our wealthy Middle Ages woman, though usually fabric used on a daily basis was wool. More adornments to make a wealthy woman look wealthy was metal, jewels, fur, and intricate embroidery. Women wore long-sleeved or short-sleeved tunics, which either had a low-cut neck or a slit down the front so they could be put over the head and could go down to their ankles. Then a finer dress would be placed on top. My mom is demonstrating a poor woman in these times.
As previously stated, the silhouettes of women's fashion were similar, but to keep lower classes from dressing above their social class, laws were passed to restrict lower classes from wearing certain materials. Certain furs and materials were only sold to the upper class. So, in the 1200s, fashion communicated status. As it still does today, But at least if I wanted to save up for a $6,000 dress, I could. We're gonna fast forward again, but this time just a few hundred years.
Here we are presenting the late 16th, 17th century. Now people care much more about what they are wearing. People used combs more often and would have mirrors in their pocket. Staying inside produced pale faces, and since only the rich could afford to spend most of their time inside, having a super pale face was associated with wealth. Women would wear white, lead-based skin cream to appear paler and even their skin tone. Obviously, this was a very dangerous practice, but it proves how much looks meant. Really, only the rich could afford makeup, so it was not only clothes separating the lower and upper class. Today, we will be strictly looking at upper class fashion since the poor were not really the fashionistas of this era. European fashion's roots generally centered in London, as it was the biggest city in Europe at the time. These were the times of gowns, bodices, corsets, and petticoats. It was all extravagant to the max. Necklines were either super high or super low. No discrimination there. Long sleeves were very common to add more intricacies. It was all about showboating. Women wanted tiny waists to accent their layered petticoats, and having your hair up was common as women wanted to elongate their presence, including using fontages, which was stacked lace and ribbon to put in a woman's hair. Those paired up with slimming corsets made the visual effect they wanted. Women and their husbands wanted their status to be known and to be visually pleasing to both themselves and again their husbands. Lighter colors were more common as to appear more graceful and youthful. These times knew nothing about being too much. It was as much as a woman could want. Clothes were often made by women too, and it all communicates that women wanted to be seen kind of as perfect in these times. That carries all the way throughout history, honestly until recent times. We have the Victorian era. We have flapper girls. We have 50s housewives. And then pant-wearing rebels. That's what fashion is today. It's about a woman being herself, pleasing who she wants to please.
Now, even though women's fashion is still made by men like Calvin Klein, Marc Jacobs, and Michael Kors, women have a say in what they wear now and what it communicates to them. I knew you were going to poop by the end of this. We can wear pants whenever we want to, and all sorts of pants at that. We have leggings, joggers, sleep pants, jeans, and slacks, and probably way more than I don't even know about, like parachute pants. Those are a thing, I guess. I don't know. But so many options, so little time. The diversity honestly makes me want to tear up a little. So really, fashion communicates anything you want it to nowadays. It can mean whatever. It doesn't reflect your status, your religion, your survival. If I want to wear a $2 shirt with $60 pair of jeans, nobody's really gonna notice. If I don't want to wear makeup, nobody's gonna say anything. If I do want to wear makeup, people might comment, but that's because of what it communicates about me on that day. Fashion is on a much more personal level nowadays, and I think we have to thank the past thousands of years for that women are able to wear what they want without being judged, and we love that. Isn't that right, Lottie? Thank you for watching. Have a great day.